all new price predictions on some of these names like Open, Lyft. We're also going to go over like Wolf, Gemini, MU. We'll also go over some other stocks like Oracle, BITF, Snapchat, and so much more. So we're going to go over some stocks. We'll have a second video later today. Comment those stocks down below that you want in those videos, current support, resistance levels, and my price prediction. So Open we'll go over first. We do have some new areas and levels that I want to go over Open. So currently, you have a new support right around 940. You still have a resistance at about 1090 and a target at about $12 So if I was looking to get in Open, I would probably get shares around where we are now. Target is right around 20%, so that's about a 20% gain on shares. But if it came back down and broke this support, I would probably cut it and lose about 6%. So it's almost a 3-to-1 risk to reward. I might even get shares of that maybe later today. I know FOMC comes out later today, right around 1 p.m. Central Time. So the next video that I make later today probably will come out around 6 p.m. Central Time. And depending on how price reacts to those news, I'll update you guys on some of the bigger names and smaller names as well. But these are kind of levels I'm looking out for now. The only thing I really see on Open is pretty much shares to about $12, 20%. Or if it comes back and breaks that support, probably will be a cut, in my opinion, for Open. But Lyft opened pretty high with the deal on Waymo to start autonomous ride hauling service in like Nashville in 2026, and they'll probably continue to do stuff. I think Waymo's owned by a little bit of Google, isn't it? But it opened pretty high, had a little softness. We are pretty much red. Yeah, I know I wanted to buy shares once it broke that 1281 area of resistance for it to go up to about the 25s, even higher than that. Maybe like the 28s or so, even probably get up to the 30s, but we're going to start getting to some bigger resistance levels in that higher range. So one, I was looking to play some shares, maybe options. I'm not too sure on it. We are a little high, so the options are a little skewed right now because they are high in value. We really don't have a bigger support just yet. That is still my bigger resistance level. I want to leave this here because I want to see if we close below that, do we stay above it? You want to have softness today, and then tomorrow you want to see Lyft either start taking off or maybe drop a little bit more to get a little better area of shares, because I would like to get some shares maybe around the 21 range, and then I would pretty much hold those shares as long as we stayed above, I would say about $19. So maybe lose around 10% or look to gain double that, which would be over 20%, maybe even 30% if it really pushes to like 28, which is like my secondary bigger area of target. So I'm gonna just leave that level here to see where we kind of close, then I'll update better on Lyft. But Lyft is having some nice push, getting very vertical. If we also check like Uber is actually having drop, even though they invested about $300 million in Lucid to create autonomous robotaxis, aiming to deploy about 20,000 vehicles in about 6 years. They are dropping and they are breaking support areas. So your new support on Uber is about 9180. You also have a new resistance level on Uber at about 97.35. So we just want to be careful of watching on Uber. Uber has been pretty slow for the last couple months in this range. No real movement or any bigger movements in that range. They did have earnings. I think their earnings beat on the revenue and EPS. If we check it out, yeah, they did beat on both. No real big movement. So just kind of watch it. Uber is at all-time highs. Lyft isn't. So Uber has a little more room to kind of come down after reaching those bigger highs. I mean, Lyft does too, but we'll just kind of watch out for those levels. If it comes back and breaks that resistance, then we might see Uber finally hit above $100, which is kind of a bigger area of target I'm looking out for. If we go over Reddit, I wanted to update a new bigger support on Reddit. I do have Reddit shares. Reddit shares are up a lot, over 100% gain. I sold half of my Reddit shares of these highs around 245, and I'm pretty much holding the rest to just see how Reddit wants to move. But we do have support around 238. We'll watch out for this. Any new plays and buys that I see for Reddit? Not really. Okay, maybe if we come back up and break this smaller resistance area at like 266, then we might start to see Reddit back up to all-time highs. But I did just want to update Reddit while I'm kind of thinking about it. And then WBD did break below that support for Warner Brothers. Y'all know they had that big push. They're getting a little slow down now. They have a couple resistance. 1950 is a resistance. You also have resistance around 2085. But now, remember, we were looking for pull downs from these resistance areas, and we literally got that perfect. You see the resistance area, we got that pull down. That's exactly what I was drawing out for you right here, right? We want that pull down. We want pull down the whole support. And if you look at from that resistance area, it tapped it here, tapped it there on Monday, and started pulling down. So now that we had that pull down, it creates a different type of areas for like Warner Brothers. So if we kind of clear all this off, Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Make sure you guys join the team. First in that description. Saturday live training, part 1 and part 2 for only one price. All link in the below. Or if you want to access to the Discord, make sure you join the monthly, yearly, or lifetime memberships that comes with personal training. But you can get live training starting Saturday. We'll have a Saturday live training, probably around 4 p.m. Central Time. It'll be recorded, and then you also have a part 2. So I'm adding another live training for just the price of one. Link below. Make sure you sign up. It will start Saturday, and this link will probably close Friday nights. Okay. And then, yeah, make sure you join the team. Today we did about 2 scalps. I did about Target calls for 7% gains, and I did Walmart calls for 7% gains. Like I said in the training, I'll kind of explain how to understand the market, entries, exits, targets, resistance levels, support levels, direction, and really break down the market the best way possible to help you get that freedom. Okay, those are 2 plays I did today. Yesterday, September 16th, I did 2 plays. I did Apple calls 14%, Meta calls 12%. Even on Monday, I lost on Amazon -20, but then I came back with Amazon with 16% gain. So this was like the 6 plays I did for this week, all live, about over a 90% win rate. Just make sure you guys join the team first in the description. Really fast track your success, build that freedom, get serious about the market, and stop just in here doing all this fugazi. But I'm gonna leave support 18.25. We do have another secondary resistance on Warner Brothers. I would say right around $19.10. So once we break both of these, then it might want to start going up. Until then, we just kind of have a little patience. LDI getting some strength. I would say we have resistance around 5.15. If it breaks that, I can see it going up to the $6 range. It's actually getting out penny stock range. It has to go above $5. So this is a stock having some nice motions, has nice pull downs, but continues. So shares around this area is not that bad. You have like a smaller support depending on where we close, but for now, right around like 450 is a current area of support. So say if I was to like get shares in this range, I would cut it. If it probably broke around 445, I cut it, lose about 5%. I look for it to go to $6, gain about over 27. So that's almost like a 5-to-1 risk to reward. That's how I would kind of play shares on this one. And then if we went, hold on, what was the stock that I wanted? If we went to Gemini is crashing like the floor. You might have to give it like a whole month. That's why I marked this out. Maybe around like October 13, like October teens, it might get a little better. It might find support on Gemini, right? Every IPO is not just going to boom. Some IPOs are going to get real bearish real quickly and just drop, right? So this one might just be good for puts right now. So Gemini, I would just kind of be careful. I'd probably give it a month. Around October teens-ish, it might start to get like a little better and find some supports. Once it finds some supports, then it might start to get a little bit of strength. Kind of like Bull. Bull had a little strength, came down about a month. I think it started around like April 9th. Right around that month of the May part, it had a little push right here. Found support, a little push, right? Percentage-wise, I would say from the low to the high, it did about 43% on that push, and then it just literally came right back down. And we really haven't seen strength out of Bull yet that really would take it to these higher levels, higher 20s and so forth. So Bull is something I'm still kind of watching as well, but nothing really has come out of Bull. So I'm just kind of chilling for now. If we go over Micron, pushing, breaking resistance, that'll probably go to all-time highs. I just don't see a play on Micron, and they have earnings coming up on September 23rd, which is next week on Tuesday. So for now, I'd probably just take all the levels off, and I'd probably just wait for earnings, see if earnings does good or bad. We'll just kind of see. But yeah, Micron is something I'm watching. I'm just kind of waiting for it to move a little bit more than is kind of what it is, to just get a little bit of play on it. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. If we go over the SP 500, support is still 650, 750. Nothing really has changed on SP 500. Even Bitcoin, nothing really has changed. Nothing big buys or anything like that on Bitcoin. The market is slow. You have bigger news coming out. I'm also watching M Materials, but we need to break 7250. Once we break that, I'll be looking for some higher strength on that thing. Also looking for some more longs, like a lot of stocks. Okay, just make sure you join the team, get the access. First link in the description. Make sure you join the training if you want to take your lessons one step further. And thank you guys for watching. Oh, BBAI I haven't went over. BBAI did break resistance, by the way. So new resistance right around 595. I'll put a support right around 510. So if we break that resistance right around 595, I'm assuming BBAI wants to get up to the 650 range. That's a possible shares play that I'm kind of looking out for on BBAI. So I did want to update on BBAI to go over some newer levels. And then if we go over BABA, BABA is booming up pretty nicely. So Looking for some Baba swings. I think Baba is pretty much trying to turn bullish and continue the strength. It is at some resistance areas on Baba, so I would say you have like 2 resistance areas. If we break both of these, I'll probably be looking at for some calls on Baba to go up maybe around the 175, which would be like a target that I'll like, maybe even the 180s if Baba has that strength. So Baba calls look pretty decent. We would just need to kind of break around these areas, which we are getting close to. So one is 167.35, the other one's 168.35. So once we break these areas, Baba might be decent for me to play calls on with that strength moving very nicely. I did want to go over Baba. Even Boeing. Boeing's coming down support if it breaks that, looking for the low 2s, and I don't really see much on Boeing. Even the airlines got a little weak as well, so we'll go over that. But yeah, we'll end the video here. I don't want it too long. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Stay tuned for the second video coming out later. And always remember, no segregation of buy or sell anything, just for educational purposes only, so do not trade anything you see or hear in the video. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye.